We all know it is impossible for young people to be convicted for breaking the law, but the severity of these cases can sometimes vary. This thus raises the question, should parents be responsible for the actions of their children, and are children able to understand the difference between right and wrong?
A case where this dilemma can be applied is the murder of James Bulger, a 2-year-old boy who was mutilated and brutally murdered by two 10-year-old boys, Thompson and Venables. They were held criminally responsible for their actions, making them the youngest convicted murderers in modern British history. A controversial decision was made to have their trial in an adult's court despite their age.
From a determinist point of view, the fate of Thompson and Venables was set in stone due to the environment of their upbringing. Both were born into ill-educated working-class lives. There's evidence to suggest that Venables' family were unstable, as both parents were alcoholics. His mother, suicidal, and his father, who eventually abandoned the family, was abusive. Taking these variables into account, I think it is possible that Venables potentially could have suffered from mental instability, which could have driven him to his actions, hence validating the argument that the parents are responsible for the actions of their children.
Alternatively, it would not be just to diminish the accountability of the 10-year-olds in this case. The UK considers the age of 10 to be the age of criminal responsibility, allowing for children of this age to be dealt with by youth courts and such. The fact that this notion has been judicially approved and enshrined in law suggests that at age 10, children are recognised as autonomous beings with their own moral compass. Thus, in the murder case of James Bulger, the two 10-year-old boys should be held accountable, as they should have been able to recognise the wrongness in their actions.
However, is it fair for the children to bear total responsibility? Though the age of criminal responsibility is 10 years, the fact that purchasing alcohol or driving a car can only legally be done at the age of 18 suggests that at the age of 10, a certain level of understanding has not yet been attained. Did the two 10-year-old boys truly understand the gravity of their actions? It could be argued that whilst they understood what they were doing, which was hurting the toddler, they weren't aware that they were actually committing murder.
Genetic evidence may support the notion that parents aren't responsible for the behaviours of their children, because the genetic makeup of a child may put them at a greater predisposition to commit such horrific crimes. A study conducted about American prisoners revealed that killers had low density levels in the Paralympic system, and a particular variation of an MAO gene resulting in extreme aggression. So can we really blame parents for their child's abnormal act when they didn't choose the biology of their children?
Ultimately, the fact that this debate has such a complex nature can suggest that there needs to be shared responsibility between both the parent and child.
However, we can understand why this may become problematic when prosecuting parties involved due to the impracticality of calculating the level of punishment they are to receive and how to divide responsibility among them.
But through the analysis of the James Bulger case, the only conceivable conclusion would be that parents cannot be entirely responsible for the actions of their children due to societal and judicial recognition that both Thompson and Venables understood their actions.